Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Here I am picking off the best organic corn I've ever grown. Very proud of it. How clean the rows are. About 90% of this field has been about like this. We had a windstorm and 90 mile an hour wind gusts in the middle of August. So we got a few that are a little goosenecked, but all in all, it's standing pretty darn good. And as you can see, the size of them ears, when you're looking at around 34,000 population, that's some good corn. And I'm just creeping along here. Rough estimates volume-wise, this is going about 230 bushel the acre. Going to have a little shrinkage there. But there's no going 4 mile an hour in this stuff. A couple years ago, I had about 200 bushel corn, and I was able to push right at 4 mile an hour. In this, I'm going about 2.5. And that right there told me that it was going to be yielding pretty darn good. So. I'll show you some settings. We'll get some footage outside of the combine. All that fun stuff. So stick around. Here's a blast from the past. That's Dan Kraft there. He always used to help Dad on the farm, kind of a hired hand. Had no agreement with him to help out or anything. He just seen us out here, been riding with my brother in his great truck, helping him load and stuff. And today, all of a sudden, he showed up on the 190 and with a wagon. It's awfully nice of him. I had to take care of him somehow, but kind of neat seeing him. He always loved Grandpa's 190 XT. That's whenever I see him, he always makes sure I got to keep that one in the shed. That one better be in the shed, he said. Make sure that one's in the shed, Tim. You got Grandpa's 190 XT in the shed, right? Yes, Dan, it's in the shed. Don't you worry. It's in the shed, along with his plow. Then he's happy. So, till the next time I see him. But anyway, I don't think he's too upset about having to run that 190, is what I'm getting at. But I'm going to keep after it. It's got a little bit left to pick in this field. Now we headed back up to the next one. I don't think I'm going to have quite a full semi by the time I'm done here. So that's fine. Well, we don't do this very often, but the semi trucker got here early, so I'm trying to push it a little bit. Completely relying on Bob to keep me in the wagon here because I'm recording. You hear that beeping? My stupid rock door has decided, the sensor decided not to work, and it's beeping at me. I would get out and try to fix it, but there again, the semi is sitting up there. I got to get this one and one more hopper. Well, as I was saying before my phone ran out of memory, that hopper I dumped and one more hopper I'll have a semi, so he'll go load that. I don't know. I think I'll have one more hopper down here, the way it's looking. That'll push this field just over 200 bushel an acre. Makes me very happy considering the first 8 acres was wind damage and only went 150 bushel an acre. So the rest of this field brought the average right up there. I'll have to do the math and figure out what the other 18 acres did, but I'm going to keep after it. Well, plans have changed drastically since the last video. Obviously, I'm standing in front of a grain drying facility and storage facility. This was built back in the 70s. This was, I mean, what a top-of-the-line operation this was in the 70s. And there's 6 different holding tanks there, and a mixer with a hammer mill, and legs to bring. I'll bring you in there later to show you what's going on in there. Just one heck of an operation from the 70s. However, this is the gentleman that I did the weed zapping for this summer. Well, I guess it was spring into summer. I was talking to him on the phone about terrible grain prices, and just clicked in his head at one point. He said, "Hey, I have some grain bins that aren't being used. Would you be interested in using them?" And, you know, immediately everything just starts turning in my head, and he didn't know anything about it. They recently bought this farm and didn't have plans on using it. Figured that the leg wasn't going to work and the heater wasn't going to work, but had co-op come out, hook up an LP tank to the heater, dryer, whatever. That all works. Did a little bit of, had my brother over and helped out with some wiring in here. Got all the fans working. Everything works so far as it should. This bin here, as you see, it doesn't have air on it, so I'm not going to be using this bin. But I'm just wanting to get everything working for the guy, and in the future, like next year's soybeans, this bin may come in handy for multiple reasons. You see the auger here, there's a bunch of stuff down in there I got to dig out and run the auger, get everything cleaned out of it, but the motor did turn on. So get this auger cleaned out. In theory it should work. That's what we're hoping for. The fans over there work. So far everything's good. So we talked to the last gentleman that put grain in this. Anybody from the area? This is an old Gakey farm, and Mark was the last person to use it. So we got some information from him about it. So the numbers on it, supposedly it'll do about 3,000 bushel at a time. This is the drying bin. And then transfer it over. Now the problem is this leg only transfers 500 bushel an hour. So you're looking at about 6 hours to transfer 3,000 bushels over. So we're getting an auger to fill this with. We're gonna have there, but I'm gonna end up having to use the leg to transfer it over. We don't have a good way of doing this. You'd need 2 augers set up because you're not gonna get an auger there to the door. You know, your auger's gonna be out here, and you're gonna need another auger to bring it. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Price of organic grain right now is just terrible, and just in March, anyway, you're looking at about a $2 gain. Some futures claim more, some claim less, but the least is a $1.50 gain, and that's just in March. So we'll see how it turns out. Either way, I know soybeans, you can usually get $3 to $4 more a bushel in the spring on the organic market than you can in the fall. At least that's been the normal since I've been farming anyhow. So now that I have storage, you know, that'll all change, right? Should be my luck. But so I'm hoping this will be helpful in the future. A few little things left to do with it. We just got belts, and that's fun crawling up there. Bob's done it twice. I've done it once. Working on the tensioner on the stirralls. We did some work inside of here. One of the slides wasn't working. The engagement for the sweep was broke, which was an easy fix with the welder. And over here, this door, the trap door right there was rotted out, so went over to my brother's shop, and that took all of 2 minutes to bend that and pinch a new one. It's right over here. It's not stainless, but I think it's in better shape than all the gearboxes had oil in them. None of them seemed to leak. We're just getting stuff greased up now. We're gonna run everything, get all the stuff out of it as much as we can. We swept up in the 2, got them cleaned up. We're pretty much about ready to get the auger set up and start putting grain in it as soon as I can get back in the field. So quit blabbing here, we'll get some stuff going, and I'll bring you back when we're running it all and seeing how everything works. Okay, everything is pretty well ready to go. This one doesn't work. It's this one here. There's the leg. Aha, truck hopper is what that is labeled as. That relay isn't working right. Not a big deal. What's this one? Dry. Is that this one? Oh. Oh, look at that mouse. And there's a mouse underneath that cover.
Kill it. Kill it. You got it?
He gone. That button doesn't work either. You gotta hold it. Indeed.
The other one too has to be fixed.
Whoop. That was that auger there. It's broke off down back there. I don't plan on using that small bend right here this year, so I'm not too worried about it, but not that big of a deal to have to fix it. Alright, now there's that auger. Yeah, none of these buttons are wanting to work. We'll have to fix that. And the main ones we're using, of course. And I got to get new belts and put on there. That's what we got. I think that we're in business. In business like we were top farmers in the area in 1970. It fit my fit the rest of my equipment that way. Told you I'd show you inside of the grain mixing setup. I'm guessing that there used to be a leg that would come into the hammer mill here, and then back up, however it worked. Kind of neat. His old feed chart. And there's more stuff down there. Just a real fancy setup for back in the 70s. I mean, really, this was just a top of the line setup. Real neat. I think it's neat. And then offload it. And then this nice little shed here to keep your grain, or keep your feed, I should say, and come grab your wagon, go off, feed your cattle. Pretty neat. And he's got this little bin set up over there, which I would imagine he used to store some. Not positive, but kind of neat. This was one hell of a farm back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Ah, there it goes. I've only got about 150 bushel. He's got about 700 though, 650, 700. All right, we're ready to get going again. I'm just cleaning my shoe out here. I wanted to show how I set these. I've been neglecting to do that. This top one, look at this. These are my fingers. I like them to be right in there. I still got it a little too much. Kind of hard to adjust this with the camera, but I just like to be able to get my fingers stacked right in there. That seems to do pretty good for me. And then the bottom, close that down here. Maybe you can see. I like to just get mine right in there, right up to the first knuckle there. That's usually a really good starting point. Then this back one here, I just like to open up a little bit. A bit more than 2 fingers stacked than that one, but not a lot, not too much more. Just a little bit, as you can see. So those are my settings to start with. Air in the corn is start pretty much all the way up, and then decrease it and watch my tailings return to tell me where I'm at there. Which there will be a whole video coming up on that subject, but not this video. So it finally froze, and we're supposed to stay frozen. I came out and I picked off the weed section of the field. Had a few acres in 2 different fields that had weeds in them, right along the highway, of course, where everybody could look at it. So you guys been driving by, you know exactly where I'm talking. And wish I'd have got footage of it, but at the time my camera was full of memory. I take all 4K videos and it takes a lot to store it. So. Anyway, heater works in here, so that's nice. 20 degrees right now, and the ground's frozen. Should be some easy threshing. Usually don't do this, but I gotta put a plug in for Harbor Freight, Hobo Freight. $4.99 for that cup holder. That's 8 cups of coffee right there, full. Very nice, Hobo Freight, $4.99. Worth it. We got one in every cab so far. The hell does he want? section of the field that took some wind damage back in August when we had the storm, and we're running quite a bit of fodder through it, so I got a little bit more in there than I usually like, but we got a good grain sample still, and I'm not blowing it out the back, so I'm happy we're running it, running good. Everything's going great today. I'll do more in depth with that, like I said. I just wanted to show you. There's a little bit of green coming through it, more than I like I said, but at that time I was leaning a little bit, and like I said, I was in a section that had a lot of stuff I was sending through, so got a lot of fodder going in there. Going good so far today. Feels around 200 bushel the acre, even with the wind damage, so can't complain. Just imagine what it would have been if we didn't have the wind damage, because right through here where you see it, the ears kind of suffered pollination and didn't fill out all the way, so it'd be well over 200 if this didn't make any wind damage this year, but that's farming. You got to take good with the bad. I think the combine would take more, a little bit faster, but I mean, there's pretty much a solid tube of corn coming out of there. If I push it much more, I'm going to be clogging up that clean grain elevator, which I just don't feel like dealing with that. Yeah, we're separating good, even though we got all this trash. I mean, you can see all that crap go through there. This combine eats it up. This combine eats it up, let me tell you. See, look at how long it takes for the damn corn. You guys see me come out of the row, look at that. Man, there's some corn in there. Makes me happy. Like I said, I'd really love to see what it would have been if I didn't have the wind damage. You can see here, this is a section that I picked off the weeds. Just didn't want to spread them through the rest of the field that's not, full of them, or the rest of the farm. Combine got blowed off real good. You got, every once in a while you're going to have one. It's nature of the beast and organic. Never going to get it perfect. Anybody that says that they do is full of themselves. How about that? All right, keeping after it. Everything's still going great. Well, we got about 3,000 bushel in here, and we're running the Sterol's a little bit, and belt, well, it's like a, bring it over there, show you. Little rubber band damn near thing. Kind of reminds me of a vacuum belt. But anyway, that was no good, so we got that on there. I got to level this out a little bit and turn everything off, because we're 3,000 bushel is what we were told to put in it, and that's what's in it. So that's better. Ooh, cool, look at that. Oh yeah. Very slowly but surely. Okay. Sterol's are working. Now to go turn on the heater. Got the old white field boss hooked up to the Farm King auger. How could you go wrong? This is a really nice auger though. It's actually built. Look how many triangles are on there. Extra cables for strength. Evan, you might appreciate that. Guards on, screw-alls on. Everything's going good. Just got a little bit of corn that my brother had put the top door, inside door piece in there, and then it fell forward while he was loading it and made a mess there before he realized what was going on. So we're fixing that problem. And then found a couple of leaks around the outside of the bend. Just got to go get some tar and come back and check on it and babysit it for a little while. Keep our fingers crossed it all works. Well, the first batch has successfully dried, and we're transferring it over into the storage bin. The air's been on this for 5-6 hours, just air, getting it back to ambient temperature, and then I'm hoping transferring it, and I've got the fan on over here. And I'll have to get some sort of rod to stick down into it so I know when it's cooled off all the way, I guess, some sort of temperature rod. Next little investment here, I guess. As you see, it's a slow process, but that's how much the buckets are pretty much full going up in there. Not quite full, we didn't want to push it. And there's a mark on the auger there that shows how far open you can open it. So it's going to be a long process. We were told it was going to be. So it's 20 degrees out here today. Real nice day. This is where I'm going to end this video, guys. Hope everybody enjoyed watching. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Got more harvest videos coming in the frozen tundra of northern Illinois. We're at that time of year, everything's froze rock solid. So again, appreciate everybody for watching. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving.